Okay, so let's take a look at the Walkabout file browser. As you can see, it has a pretty clean interface. Starting at the top, it's got a couple of buttons, which are actually tabs, but they look like buttons. This one takes you to the root of the card, which is the default. This one would take you to the root of the phone, which would be the single / character on a Linux file system. In this area here, what we have is basic breadcrumb trail navigation, which we're all used to. So you can see where you've been and where you're going. You can hit the back button to navigate back, or you can just jump back to where you started, so you don't have to click back through every single folder to get back to where you were. The list itself scrolls nicely. Typically folders are first, files are second, but that of course is adjustable. You can sort by anything and you can invert the sort. Tap opens a folder. Well, there's nothing in that folder. Let's go to a folder that has something. There we go. Tap opens a folder. Unless, of course, you have the multi button on, which we're all familiar with. In which case, now we're selecting folders, which is not something you need to do very often, but once in a while. The date is the date and time, follows the date and time setting of the phone, so whatever you put there in your settings is what you're going to see there. The number of items or the size of the file, so if it's a folder, it'll tell you how many items are in that folder. I have 4 items in my DCIM. Oops, I have multi-M. Let's turn that off and go in there. There they are. For a file, we have either it's going to be bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, you know. And we're using these abbreviations because these numbers are going to get really long if it's a big file, and on some phones you're just going to run out of room. So it's either going to be bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, whatever. So that's the basic look of it. You've seen the multi-button in action. Select all does what you would expect. Very useful in some scenarios. And exit will actually exit and close the application. So, and it asks you if you want to exit, so you can say no. So let's take a look at some of the features of this guy. We can deal with zip files. So we have a zip file here. If we long press on it, it knows that it's a zip file and it asks us if we want to explore it. We could share it, of course, which you're probably all familiar with. Whatever you have on your system that will allow you to share a file, there you are, you can share it. But what's nice about a zip file is we can go in there, it comes up right away, we can see what's in there. We can select all, we can select a few items, we also have a menu down here where we can control the sort and so forth if we have a lot of items. You can even select the item by type. These are all pings, but if you had 10 different kinds of files in there and you really just wanted all the pings and you hit that, it would just select all the pings. And then you can copy and return. So those are on the clipboard now. So the way zip files work in this application is it uses the clipboard. So let's go into a folder here, like zip testing, that makes sense. And we have some other stuff in here. Let's go in here because we don't have as much stuff. We have opened a zip file, we've selected some items, we've copied them to the clipboard. So let's go ahead and just paste them here now that we know where we want them. And it's pretty much that simple. I've extracted some items out of the zip file. Works the same way going in the other direction. If I select all these guys, what I would do is just copy them to the clipboard, and then I would go somewhere else where I want to make my file, my zip file, and I would say zip, and then it asks me what do you want to call it. You know, I'll just give it a junk name for now, and it does give you a little bit of grief if you don't put .zip on the end, but doesn't force you to. We accept that, and away it goes. It makes a zip file. And so exploring zip files, extracting, making them is very easy. Currently it only gives you the zip option, not gzip, but there's really no discernible difference between the two. So that's how zip files work. We also have, well, let's go back here a second and let's take a look at this. Here's all your basic functionality of cut, copy, paste, and delete. It all works as you would expect, and you've seen how zip and paste and copy work in tandem with one another. On the More menu, We have the sort feature, which you've seen. We can make new folders, we can make new files, and we can search. So if we go to search, it wants to know, do you intend to search the current folder, the card, the entire phone, including the card? Are you searching for folders, files, everything? So let's just type in something here. Let's use a wildcard character, which it will take. It'll take stars and underscores for wildcard characters. So let's go ahead and look for text files. Dismiss the keyboard and search. And away we go. It entertains you a little bit. It's going to search the entire card. And there we go, we found some text files. Now what's nice about this search feature is once you've found what you think you might be looking for, you can just long press on it and jump to that location. And there you are. And it highlights the item for you. And you can see we're in card Android data, that's where I found it. Now of course we can open it. Let's use, I guess we'll just use this guy for now. Decide whether that is what you were looking for or not. You can always go back to search and it persists your search. So if that wasn't it, you know, you can press on this one and you can go out and see, well, maybe that was the text file I was looking for. That's basically how search works. It's simple, it's very accurate, and it's fast. If we go back to the root of the card. Okay, so let's talk about the media scan feature. What the media scan does is after you've moved, deleted, renamed files, if those are media files, what happens is the Android media store database gets out of sync with what's on the file system. And so what the media scan does is it fixes that problem for you. And it operates on one folder at a time. So it expects you in a way to know, well, I just copied a bunch of files into this folder from some other folder, so I should run a media scan on both of them to get them both in sync. There certainly are some things you can do automatically from a programmatic point of view, especially when you delete a file, that's easy. And some of that will be implemented in the future, but you're always going to need this feature on the outside because other programs don't do this. And so it's nice to give the user the ability to clean a particular folder up. So let's go look at the gallery feature. Let's go into here, go into camera, which we're all familiar with, and we get a little option here wanting to know if we want a list view or a gallery view. We want the gallery view, and there it comes. And the reason why this is so nice and fast on an Android phone is because of the media store database. I don't have to hit the file system and generate these thumbnails, I just have to query for them. And so it's super snappy. So here we are, looking at all of our thumbnails. There's 300 and something of them. You can see it scrolls real nice. Some of the things we can do here, well, if we long press on one, it'll take us to that view. But let's stay here for a minute. If we turn multi on, we can select them rather than going to the large view, right? So I've selected a bunch of files now. And now I can delete them right now, and it will take care of your media store database at that time. I can cut them or copy them and then go back to the main program and navigate to some other folder and paste them into there. Also, we can, under the view button, we can control our view. So we can invert the sort. So right now, I'm looking at these. Whoa, we don't need that. Right now, I'm looking at these. This is the last picture I took, right here on my phone. If we invert the sort, then now I have the very first picture I took using this phone at the top. So they're ordered by date by default, which is the only way to order images that makes any sense. Other views, I just don't know what to do. Other views, one across gives you a slightly larger view of your images. You can scroll through those. Once it settles down, it'll snap in, so you get a nice view of 3 images. You can select them as well. Cut, copy, and delete, do all that stuff. We can look at 3 across. You'll scroll a little faster if you have 3 across because it's loading fewer images as it goes. And we can look at quality thumbnails, which you can figure out what that's for on your own. And we can invert the sort. And we can press on one of these images once we turn multi-off, and it will take us to the large view of the gallery. So this view will turn, and we can tap on either side and go through our images. We can also swipe like so, and we have a bunch of neat transitions to choose from. So that's grow and fade out. Let's put it to something a little more interesting. Spin in, spins in from either side, and away we go. Changing orientation, and we can look at our images. This works just like the built-in gallery, in that it loads a thumbnail first, and then while you're looking at the transition and the images coming in, it loads the full image in the background, so that it's a high quality image, super high quality once it comes in. You just have to wait a second for it to snap in, just like with the main gallery. Exit back, and we're back here, and of course we drop that down. 3 across, and back, and there we go. And if we go back, it will remember our settings. So we left it on 3 across, and it's on 3 across. That's the gallery. Other features to be implemented later, but that's basically what you need for now. And that's pretty much a quick overview of Walkabout File Browser. Thank you very much.